Deep in the ocean, an orca pod is on the hunt. But these aren't your average orcas. These guys are organized.
Marketing team, did you get those social media posts scheduled for the SEAL migration?
Aye, Captain. We even have an automated notification for all pod managers when they go live.
They use Monday.com to keep their teamwork sharp, their communication clear, and their goals in sight. Monday.com. For whatever you run, even orcas. Go to Monday.com to dive deeper.
One time, two times. I'm all by myself. Robert's in Japan, and I didn't get a chance to talk on the last episode. Cue the sniper girl. Robert went over the world, and he left me all alone. He doesn't even call me on the phone. Cue the sniper girl. Cue the sniper girl. Ah, that's right, everyone. Robert is not here today. He wasn't here on Monday either, but Christian was here, and I don't think I got a chance to talk. Well, I did, but there was I might have been by myself. So yeah, Robert, as he explained earlier, is in the country of Japan. So I'm all by myself, and I wanted to use this chance for RulaskaThoughts, which I don't think we really had this global all-star season, to touch on a couple of topics that I didn't think were covered enough. All right, we are going to talk about, well, this past episode, I want to talk about more of a she-quel breakdown. We'll get into that. I wanted to give my thoughts on some very specific looks. But on the episode before this past episode, there was a fight in Untucked, Nehellenia versus everyone, and I really want to do a dive that I wanted to do with Robert that we didn't get a chance to do, and so that's all going to happen right here on this episode of RulaskaThoughts. People who are, in the know about these kinds of things will know that as of the posting of this episode, Meet Our Monsters from Dragula has dropped. The Dragula Meet Our Monsters has dropped, and that's for season 6. And you might be thinking, well, when are Joe and Lori going to bring back Hello Uglies to cover Meet the Monsters? That will be happening not this week. It might be next week, but it's more likely the week after. I think, the problem is if we do Meet the Monsters and then it's like 2 weeks and we've built this momentum, and then where do you guys go? So we might record it next week, but I might not release it until the week before the episode drops. So that's the update on Meet the Monsters for Dragula. But Hello Uglies returning for season 6 of Dragula. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on over at Patreon. Currently, here is what the lineup is. Right now, let me see. On Monday mornings, they get the recap. On Tuesday mornings, they get Just Between Us Girls. On Wednesday morning, they get either the Best of Today or they get Throwing Down. Both of them are chat shows. On Thursday morning, the exclusive tier gets some sort of show. But here's the thing. Sometimes the schedule is pushed back a bit because there might be extra content that drops. And so then, then the exclusive tier show gets pushed back. There's also This Week in Joe Betance, which hasn't been around in a couple of weeks, but is coming back this week. There's also Fat Camp. There's also Let's Talk About It. So much content over at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. Now, by the way, if you're a Just Between Us Girls only person, well, look, you can join the executive tier level and above and get J-Bug and all the shows I just talked about, or most of them. But if you just want Just Between Us Girls, you can do that on Apple Podcasts. I think it's like $6 a month, and you just get Just Between Us Girls. But coming soon, in fact, it might be available by the time you hear this. If you go to patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia, by the way, public service announcement for anyone out there, I'm going to save you some dough. Do not subscribe to the show through the iPhone app because there's an added tax basically on there. It's like 30% more expensive on the app. Do it on your computer. patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. It'll be significantly cheaper than doing it in the app. Please, I'm trying to save you money. But if on patreon.com/afterthought, but you can now, if you go on the website, and it'll probably be ready by the time you get there, you can just one-time fee buy whatever show it is you want, whether it's the Sydney Gays, whether it's Fat Camp, whether it's Let's Talk About It, whether it's Just Between Us Girls. You can buy all that over at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. A lot of those shows are already available, but Just Between Us Girls for Global All-Stars will be available soon, and maybe even past seasons of Just Between Us Girls. And also, don't forget, the tea is still going strong. We have our new guest co-host for the next few episodes, the original host of the tea. You guys don't have it on the public feed. It's only over at for the Patreon people, because this Shannon is the co-host, and Shannon only wants to do. She doesn't really want to have those shows out in the public. So there's a secret season that you can only get over at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. And that's the original co-host, Shannon. And she's joined us knowing it's on the public feed over at the T, wherever you get your podcast. Well, with all that out of the way, let's go to more commercial breaks. We'll be back right after this, and we'll talk about the rest of the episode. We are back. Okay, so I have a few things I want to talk about. The first topic, in terms of talking about RuPaul's Drag Race and talking about the episode, the Global All-Stars episode 5, called Boobies, or Booby, I'm sorry, the she-quels. There's the plural. Booby the she-quels. I have to be honest with you guys about something. The episode was so bad that, couple of BTS facts. I had to ask Christian to sit in, okay? And Christian had a condition, I don't know why, the condition was he wanted to record it first thing Friday. Usually when we do it with Robert, we don't record till Monday. So when the show drops on Thursday night, I have Friday to watch the show, make an outline, then I watch the show again, take notes, the outline goes to the producer, she sends back a script, I look it over, I make changes, all kinds of stuff happens, right? And I have the weekend to do that. So when I record with Robert on Monday, it's ready to go. Christian wanted everything so quickly, I had to do everything myself. The producer wasn't involved in this episode at all. And I had to live my life on Friday and rush and finish these things. And so part of it was eating lunch. And so I was starving. And so during the actual she-quels, I was making my lunch. I was watching, I was paying attention. But now on a rewatch, that I had the luxury of doing a rewatch, I got to really watch these more carefully. And I actually wish I would have watched them more carefully, because I've completely changed my opinion on these shows and on these sequels. And so I'm going to go over them right now. First of all, on the show, I said that Frankenbooby was the best of the three. That was totally wrong. It's awful. I don't know why I thought Frankenbooby was the best when I was half paying attention while I was making lunch. It's awful. It's terrible. I don't know what I was thinking. It was terrible all around. But the writing was the worst part. But I will say, and I still hold to this, and I did say this in the show, Galavado wasn't bad. The other two were not, the other two or three, I don't know how many were on there, were not so great. But Galavado wasn't that bad. She might have been the strongest one in that sketch, okay? So let's keep that in mind. Next, we have Boobies of the Caribbean. Now, I'm going to tell you, everyone on Reddit thinks that this was the best one. I disagree. I also thought this was really bad. But I will say what the difference is, and this is going to a bigger topic that Reddit has been talking about, is a lot of the blame and the falls on the shoulder that there's a language barrier. And 2.5 of these queens, English isn't their first language. Pythia speaks stronger English than the other two, but it's not, you can tell it's not her first language. And so I think that sketch suffers as a result. Look, so you might be thinking, oh, well, that means Joe thinks Jurassic Booby was good. No, I think that was also terrible. But I will say, of the three, it was the strongest. It wasn't strong. It was just the strongest. The thing that really confuses, well, I do want to give credit where it's due. And I have not seen anyone talk about this. I was really impressed on a rewatch. Again, I didn't pick this up when I was half watching it. On a rewatch, I was really impressed by how good Kitty Scott Claus, her American accent was. It was really good. And it wasn't that much, as she said, but the little bit that I heard, it was really quite good. So I am going to give her credit on that. But what was really weird to me is, I know it's going to sound weird that I'm going to this show for like some sort of verisimilitude, but this plot line had more in common with Frankenbooby than it did with Barbie. It had, or Jurassic Park, I'm sorry. It had virtually nothing. I mean, I guess they had like the same kind of characters, but the dinosaur, unless there's a Jurassic Park I haven't seen, the storyline of the giant Barbie just wanting to play. Okay, I don't know how familiar you are with Frankenstein, but in Frankenstein, there's a very famous scene, and actually still a kind of very scary scene, the way it's shot especially, where Frankenstein is, on the run, and he's just wandering the town or the land, and he comes across a little girl who I think might be blind, and she's just throwing like she might not be blind. I might have made up that she's blind, but she's throwing like daisies into the water and watching them float. And Frankenstein comes across her, and because she's so innocent, she doesn't know he's a monster. And I don't know if that's because she's blind or not. I can't remember, and I've seen this movie 100 times. And Frankenstein doesn't understand. He's trying to be nice. He's trying to be kind. He likes this little girl. He likes how kind she is to him. But because essentially he's a monster and has the brain of a criminal in him, or I don't know what the reason, he fucking picks the girl up and throws her in the water, and she dies. That's clearly what they're hearkening back to when she picks up Ken and rips his head off. But no, I don't think anything like that happens in Jurassic Park. I know Robert's a big Jurassic Park fan, so maybe he'll correct me, but it seemed like that was like a Frankenbooby storyline that then they just turned into a Jurassic. I don't know. It was really, really stupid and crazy. But it wasn't great. And honestly, Kween Kong wins the whole episode. She was the worst part of this sketch. She wasn't good. The other two, Kitty Scott Claus had a great American accent. Alyssa was just being Alyssa. Kitty was just whatever. Not good. None of these were good. They were all horrible. The show is horrible. And it was not good. Now, before we get to the runway, I realize, I don't know why any of them would be here, this long into the show. But there's probably a number of you who are just not watching this and just relying on this podcast for information. So let me tell you, and you should know that there is a lot of online drama with this show. In that, and this episode was the proverbial shark that the show jumped over for this season. People saw this episode and they lost their motherfucking minds. They got so angry. Now, what you may not, again, Christian and I recorded this very early, like within not even 12 hours or something of this show dropping, we recorded this episode. So I didn't get the chance to look at what was said online or anything like that. But this show is very hated. This episode is very hated. And in particular, what they're really upset about is what they're calling, I don't know if they're calling necessary colorism. It doesn't really make any sense. As much as, there are certain queens, they basically feel that the girls that RuPaul has been favoring and that there's clear favoritism in the show, and that those are girls that RuPaul judged their season, so she already has a sense of him. And so online, they're calling those girls, Alyssa Edwards, Kitty Scott Claus, and Kween Kong, they're calling them Ru girls. And they're calling everybody else the international girls. And people are feeling like there is an unfair judging going on. And I happen to agree with some other points, but here's the thing. I don't know who said this, but there's something like never credit something with being evil when it's just incompetence or something. I don't remember what it is, and people will correct me. But in the same way, I don't think RuPaul is being evil or, nefarious, or there's a whole big, and you know me, I'm always looking for that. I honestly think RuPaul is doing too many fucking shows, and she's just gotten, it's going to sound weird because she's doing so many shows. Obviously RuPaul has a very strong work ethic, but what I mean is she's working herself so hard and something has to give. And so the judging is lazy. The judging is lazy. And the judging is lazy because they don't want to take the time to learn about the other girls, learn who they are, learn their stories, learn their backstories, learn where their drag comes from. They just want to go in, bust this fucking show out, and get the fuck out of Columbia. They just want to get in, get out, collect the check, and leave. RuPaul doesn't give two shits. She just wants to give Alyssa the crown. Can we just get this over with? So I just don't think she's just even caring about the other girls. It's just we're going to get rid of them one by one. We're going to have a final three of Kitty Scott Claus, Kween Kong, and Alyssa Edwards. And end of the show, and just give Alyssa the crown, the end of the story. And it's stupid. And, ultimately she's hurting herself. And I don't understand the logic. But again, I don't think it's some sort of nefarious anti-international queen as much as it's just RuPaul is lazy about learning about the other girls. It's actually not. It's actually, what's funny is we're going to get to the Nehellenia fight in Untucked. And I've actually pulled the audio. And what I'm going to say is I think that the same holds true for Alyssa. Because it'd be very easy to blame Alyssa, but I just think Alyssa just doesn't know what's going on. We'll get to that when we get there. But for those of you who aren't watching, the favoritism is really obvious. And I've just explained why I think that is. And people are very upset about it. Why they're upset about a TV show that isn't even the main season, I don't know. But people are very, very upset about this online. And I actually think that the show, it seems like this season is really actually doing damage to the brand with hardcore viewers. Here's the thing. Ultimately, though, I don't really think it matters because the hardcore viewers are still going to fucking watch. They're going to bitch and they're going to complain, but they're still going to watch. And to the casual viewer, I have news for you. They're not even watching. 99, well, I don't know what the percentage is, but I bet you only like 30 or 40% of the US flagship season audience is watching this. We don't have the numbers because on a streamer. But I'm telling you, not that many people are watching it. And those casual viewers, they're just happy with watching their one season a year, and they're going to keep watching, and they don't think about it. They watch it on Friday night at a bar, or maybe that weekend with their boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever, and then they don't think about it. They're not like us. They don't listen to podcasts about it. They don't watch content about it. They watch the show, and they go on with their lives. And that's the vast majority of the audience. And so ultimately, none of this matters, is what I'm trying to say. But I think with their hardcore fans, they are hurting their base, which I don't know if it's a smart thing to do. As we know, as you may know, I go to Disneyland quite a bit. I'm not your typical Disney adult. I don't take pictures with the characters. I don't really go on rides that often. I really just go in there to get my steps. And it's a very expensive way, I just realized, to just go get my steps. But that said, I go sometimes on the subreddit Disneyland, our Disneyland. And there are people who bitch about the craziest fucking shit. And they act like Disneyland is a government-owned public park and that they have a right. And I'm like, no, it is a fucking business. And you can either choose to support that business, or if you don't like it, don't support the business. And that's how I feel about RuPaul's Drag Race. RuPaul makes a TV show. If you're really horrified to the degree that you are, Carol, stop watching RuPaul's Drag Race, Jennifer. You don't have to watch it. The end. That said, Global Ulcers is shitty. All right. let's go to the runway. I only have a few thoughts about the runway. I watched it again very carefully. Based on her performance and based on her runway, Galavado should not have been in the bottom at all. I actually don't even really understand why she was there. She was good in the performance, and her outfit on a second watch wasn't that bad. It was actually fine. I'm not saying it was great, but it wasn't being the bottom worthy. I actually feel, believe it or not, I don't know that much about well, I did say she wasn't very good in Frankenbooby. So Eva LaQueen, maybe she should have been in the bottom, but not for that outfit. The outfit was fine. And what I bring up instead is Vanity Vane's outfit was so fucking lazy and not good. I think Christian mentioned it wasn't good, but on a second watch, I agreed. It was not good. And I'm going to tell you, and I don't remember what Christian's opinion was on this, Kitty Scott Claus's outfit was not good. It was terrible. It was Kitty's outfits the entire season have been awful, embarrassingly awful. Why she's been consistently in the top and clearly favored is ridiculous because this outfit was awful. Vanity, well, Kitty couldn't have been at the bottom because she won, which is weird because the show is playing this weird thing that whenever they want to protect Alyssa, then you're being judged individually. If they don't want to protect Alyssa, then you're judged as teams. It's something weird. It's one of the things they're playing it clear to protect Alyssa. I'm going to tell you something. Kween Kong's outfit, not horrible, but again, she was the worst in her sketch, and this outfit was very whatever. There's everything that Queen's bringing looks cheap. I don't like it. I don't like her. And I know she's been a big presence online, constantly making excuses like this fucking Donald Trump. Just fucking own the L and just take it. She's going on there during the Nehellenia fight and blaming Nehellenia and this and that, and we didn't see this. You're stupid, blah, 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 fighting with the audience. This week she's mad about this and that, and oh, don't judge me because my looks got lost and whatever. Bitch, turn off your fucking social media. I don't know. Look, I've said this before and I've said it again. I am not a drag queen. I will never be on this show. But what I am saying is, and I don't know why they don't do this, if you go on RuPaul's Drag Race, give your username and password to all your social media accounts to a trusted friend, trusted source, have them handle your shit. In fact, they should change the password while you're on the show. Just take it over and you can't look at it. Okay? And don't look at it. And you will be so happy. You will have the best experience on RuPaul's Drag Race if you don't look at social media. Kween Kong should not be looking at social media. She's coming off petty, which she is. She's coming off awful, which she is. And she's just showing her true self. And I live for it, to be honest with you. All right. Well, on that note, now, oops, I almost knocked something over. We are going to analyze the Nehellenia fight from Untucked episode 4. For those of you who don't watch the show, here's the context. They did a girl group challenge. Okay. Earlier in the episode, during a workroom moment, Nehellenia was sitting with her group, which I know had Kitty in it, and maybe Galavado. I don't remember, but she was talking to her group. And she was saying that she doesn't think people on the cast like her. And they were like, I don't know what you're talking about. But everyone's like, who are you talking about? And she didn't want to say anything, so she didn't. Okay, that's early in the episode. Then she goes, and she had said in confessionals that she was really excited about the girl group challenge, and she wanted to win it. But obviously, she wanted to do well in the girl group challenge, at least well enough to win. So then they do the girl group challenge. And again, as you know, if you watch the show, they separate, especially at this stage in the game, they have the safe girls, they go Untucked, and then they have the bottom 3 and the top 3. And Nehellenia is actually in the top 3 with Kitty Scott Claus and Kween Kong. They're the top 3. In the bottom are Miranda LaBrow, Pythia, and Vanity Vane. And there's a bunch of people. I know Galavado, Eva LaQueen, I think, and Alyssa Edwards and Soa Demuse are safe. And they're in the Untucked Lounge. That's where we're going to join it. Now, I was playing with this soundboard here, and I may have started it already, but all you missed, if I did, was Alyssa saying to the group before the other girls come back, who do you all think is in the top? If you hear it, okay, you know I said it. But if you don't hear it, that's what she said. Alyssa said, who do you all think is in the top? Here we go.
Amazing. Who do y'all think is in the bottom, though?
Miranda, definitely.
Miranda and Pythia.
I really hope not.
I don't know.
I think Nelly.
For me,
Nelly? I could see Pythia or Nelly in the bottom with Miranda.
Okay, I want to stop right here because I think this really explains a lot here. This is where I'm going to be a sort of an Alyssa apologist. Notice Alyssa just, this is me trying to get in Alyssa's brain. Notice Alyssa just sort of lists Nehellenia. She's like, oh, I think she's basically repeating what Soa says. And then but she really wants to say that for sure Miranda is in the bottom. I think she's yes-anding Soa Demuse. Not because I think Alyssa's great. I still hold that Alyssa doesn't know who any of these girls are. So I don't think she knows who Nehellenia is. All right. So I'm thinking she's like, oh, yeah, Nehellenia. She's repeating what Soa said. Soa for sure said Nehellenia is in the bottom. But I think Alyssa's just repeating what Soa said so she can really emphasize that she thinks Miranda is in the bottom. Here we go. Keep going.
Miranda is the for sure. Okay, ladies, what happened?
Okay, so now the other girls have come back in and they've sat down, and then Alyssa asks what happened on the stage.
And out there.
Tell us, what do you think?
I said I think my top two is Kitty and Kong.
Me too. Okay.
Maybe Nelly.
So that's Miranda LeBrow, who's in the bottom, says, because she was there on the main stage, well, maybe Nelly is in the top. And now this is kind of shady of Alyssa and Soa, because from what we saw in Untucked, Alyssa and Soa are the only ones who said they thought Nehellenia would be in the bottom. Okay, but they make it this, which is funny because it comes back later when they said when she says, when Nehellenia says everyone hates me, they're like, who? Name names. No one pressed Alyssa and Soa to name names about who put her in the bottom, but here we go.
Yeah. Thank you.
The top?
Top? Yeah, of course.
Oh, she was mentioned for someone's bottom.
Yeah, you were the one that mentioned it.
Oh, yeah.
She was mentioned for someone's bottom. Yeah, bitch, the person that's sitting next to you and you, the only two people. Okay, so now this is later, and I've cut, believe it or not, this is not part of the Nehellenia fight, but I kept it in for a reason. This is Pythia talking about how she's in the bottom and she starts to feel sorry for herself, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is what Untucked is about, but I'm putting it here for contrast. I want you guys to listen.
Pythia, what about you?
I'm also in the
The sad music playing in the background, by the way.
bottom.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable, but I just feel like...
Starting to cry.
I just feel bad because I feel like I've disappointed you. Oh my God, baby.
No. Don't even stop.
Notice how she's feeling sorry for herself, and they're all running to her, like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? No, oh my God. And if you didn't watch it, they're all covering her with like a big giant hug, coming behind her, surrounding her, crowding her with love, which, by the way, is a beautiful thing to see on this show. It's a beautiful thing to see. But it's just, I'm putting in here for contrast for how they treat Nehellenia. I raised the volume a little bit too.
And I took a risk and it flopped, and that's fine. I just don't want you to feel disappointed because
No,
it
no.
was also your performance, and
No,
I feel like I dragged you both down.
But based on what I saw from some of the other groups, I was surprised that you were in the bottom, to be completely
I'm gonna let that finish. Hold on.
honest, and some of these bitches were saved, to be honest.
Why is Kween Kong such a fucking cunt? Why is she? Why did she need to say that? Did you hear what she just said? She said, to make Pythia feel better, I'm surprised you were in the bottom because some of these safe girls were horrible. What? Why would you say that?
Me too.
And that's Vandy Van Wayne. Okay, so now Alyssa, they've gone around. Miranda talked about, her being in the bottom and she's really proud of herself. Pythia gave her talk. And Vanity Vane was feeling sorry for herself. So now the people who were in the bottom have gone. Now Alyssa's going around the room. Let's start with Nehellenia about her feelings about getting positive critiques. Here we go.
What kind of critique did you get?
Only good ones. They love my runway. They love my dance. They love my presence on stage. So they don't underestimate me like someone of you do.
Okay, now let's be honest. This is dramatic, okay? This is very dramatic. I am being 100% honest. But it's really, apart from the language barrier, first of all, they're fucking drag queens. Let's just get that out of the way, okay? But she doesn't get the same sympathy that Pythia does. And in fact, listen, the music is different. It's dramatic music. Oh, this is drama. Now, there is going to be a fight, so to put dramatic music. But she's not getting the sympathetic music that Pythia got. Here we go.
But it's fine. If you don't like me, you can respect me as an artist, because I don't feel like everyone respects me very well. Who don't like you?
So I'm taking out a lot of confessionals. When I do pull audio, I don't like to put confessionals. There will be a couple that I think are important, but a lot of them, they're just telling you what they're feeling. I don't keep in here.
I show a lot. I'm proud of myself. And then when I talk with you, it's like, okay, Nehellenia, it's one of the, maybe the next to go home.
Where are you getting this?
No, it's a feeling.
Say the names, girl.
For sure, Nehellenia.
Everyone.
It's not. No, a lot of you. Okay.
By the way, look, guys, we have to keep in mind here. She's one of the people, at least, she's talking about. In fact, she kind of confessed this in the workroom. She confessed, sort of, that the two people she was talking about were Alyssa and Kween Kong. I even mentioned on the show that Nehellenia is wrong here because I don't even think Alyssa knows who she is or knows who anybody is on the show. Maybe Tessa, that's it, right? So I don't think Alyssa's even thinking about Nehellenia, one. But two, Alyssa is a very big fucking deal and a big star, and she's in the room with them. You know, it takes a lot of balls to speak truth to power. And Alyssa has the power in this situation. The reason Nehellenia is being coy, but still trying to express her feelings, is she doesn't want to say Alyssa's name in fear of retribution. But there is, and this is really what the whole crux of this is she wants a love me mommy thing. She wants Alyssa to love her the way Alyssa loves Tessa Testicle, the way Alyssa, I don't know what I can tell that she loves. So she wants that kind of love. And Alyssa's just oblivious to her. And I think that's hurting her feelings. That's all this is. It's 100% what this is. But she doesn't want to say that for fear, because she still maybe wants Alyssa to love her. And B, she is afraid to do it. There might be retribution either from Alyssa, or maybe she feels she'll be eliminated by the producers or whatever. Who knows? Here we go.
It's a name and shame.
Need to change. Sorry.
For example.
Now, by the way, I think Miranda knows she's in the bottom. That was Miranda who said, I need to change, sorry. And she gets up and leaves. But what she essentially does, inadvertently and innocently, I think she really does have to change. She realized they've been talking a long time about this, is she breaks the seal and gives the other girls, or some of the girls, permission to also get up and leave.
For today, I think I was very good. And I'm here, and when they say, maybe Nelly is on the top, everyone was, what? Everyone. I saw every one of your face.
No, she's been a little ridiculous. I don't think anyone is really thinking that much about her.
Everyone.
Oh, no, girl, I mean...
This is Soa. And this is,
in the top check.
This is when Soa, guilty conscience, is like, knows she's one of the people who feels this way. She's the one that said she thought Nehellenia was in the bottom. So now she's going to get up and walk away.
Change your subject, girl.
My critiques have been amazing. I want to tell the girls, and all that's happened is Miss Italy's fucking chiming off. Shut up!
Listen to what Kitty just fucking said. That she got great critiques, and she wants to tell the other girls. And Nehellenia is cutting in on her time. Shut the fuck up. First of all, there are only 3 or 4 girls who didn't hear the critiques. Alyssa, Soa Demuse, Eva LaQueen, and Galavado. They know she's in the top, so they know she got positive critiques. So you want to rub it in everyone's fucking face that you got positive critiques? That's why you're mad? I could see how the bottom girls want to vent, but you, as the winner, didn't get to get your flowers, and that's why you're mad at Nehellenia, who's feeling some type of way. Kitty Scott Claus can go fuck herself.
I said to you in 2 days in a row now, like, how good you are.
Yeah, I'm not talking about you.
Vanity Vane, even though she's annoying, I will give her, she's probably in her feelings, because she also knows she's in the bottom.
But you have said everyone.
No, I don't say everyone.
Yes, you did. A lot of times.
Now she
I
gets
do
up
not
at least.
care about that kind of people. I'm sorry. The fuck is wrong?
I can't see if you're just going, people.
I just want to say, and I don't know why I feel this way, Vanity Vane getting mad because Nehellenia said everybody hates her, and I don't know why, it feels very Swedish to me. And that's all I'm going to say. I don't know why. It makes no sense. I don't need Swedish people writing to me. It just feels like a very Swedish sentiment.
Doing this, and I don't like it, but it's everyone, but I'm not going to say names.
Kween Kong can also go fuck herself.
It makes me just go, well, listen. No, I'm not done.
It's not
I'm not done, baby. I'm not done. We're in the top this week. That girl over there is probably going to be in the bottom.
She's pointing at Miranda, who got a whole speech about her being in the bottom. She got to talk about being in the bottom.
And we just sat here talking about your feelings rather than going, how can we help that sister?
One, they did all the bottom girls before they went to Nehellenia. One. Two, how were they going to help her? By the way, of all three of the girls who were possibly in the bottom, Miranda was the most who was like, I feel good. I know I'm in the bottom, but I'm really proud of what I did later.
You know, I thought she was Miss Congeniality. To be honest, she's a bit of a cunt.
Bitch. God, I hate Kween Kong. I hate her so much. I hate her. She is a horrible, horrible human being. And I know there are probably some of you who think but I want the record to show. I said this about Todrick Hall for years. I said this about a couple of other people, and it's always been proven to be true. If I go out on my limb and I say, go out on a limb, that someone is a horrible, horrible human being, to this date, as of yet, heretofore, I have not been wrong. And that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. It'll come out. I don't know what. I don't know when. Oh, I know who it was. This Soju. Yeah. Soju was another one. I said horrible human being. Guess what? She was a horrible human being. We're going to leave it at that. It's been a very long solo Rulaska Thoughts. Like I said, Robert will be here next week, supposedly, and we'll talk about it then. Like I said, patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia, the tease on the public feed. And that's it. See you next week on Rulaska Thoughts.